SNMTC Villa. I am Emmanuel, and today we are present in Thomas Lodge to interview the Queen of GNMTA and then the Women's Commissioner of GNMTA. So just stay put and enjoy the rest of our show. Thank you. Okay, so welcome back to Brown Bag Media, and then we begin with our exclusive interview with the Queen of GNMTA and then the Women's Commissioner of GNMTA Training College. I have a quote for today. The pessimist complains of wind, and the optimist expects it to change, but a good leader sails through it. This one is from John Maxwell. My guest for today has lived and delivered as a result of true leader and a great entrepreneur. Her life has been a cause of commitment to student welfare and discipline. An old student of Kumasi Girls Senior High School in Kumasi, she was known for her wit, smartness, and zest for life. Ladies and gentlemen, my guest for today is no one other than Sophia Akumenyi, the Women's Commissioner for GNMTA Training College, and then the first runner-up Queen for Miss GNMTA. Let's introduce Sophia Akumenyi on the show. Okay, so Sophia, how are you doing?
I'm fine.
I am so pleased to have you on my show today, and I think it's going to be a great conversation. Okay, so let's start with a brief background about you. Tell us about Sophia.
Alright, so Sophia is a young girl. Let's say, I wouldn't say a young girl, a young lady, because and I am the second born of my parents out of 4 kids, but I am the elderly girl. We are 3 girls and 2 boys. Yeah, so I am next to a boy, and a boy is next to me with a little sister who is the last one. Sophia loves fufu and light soup, and she comes from the Buno East region, that is in Kransa to be precise, but was born and bred in Kumasi at Stadium. Sophia is someone who is optimistic and a pragmatic lady. Until something is done, she never gives up. I wouldn't like to talk much. Someone might think this lady is trying to, brag or something, but that isn't the case. The case is, I believe that I do what I do best and I leave the rest to God. And that is the philosophy that is pushing me in life. That God, this is what I have on board. And with the grace of God and the strength indulging me, I am doing well and excelling. So that is that I can say about it.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah. I think I'm so amazed to have such a person seated on my show. My next question is that, have you always been a good leader like this? And then since when did you start being a student leader? Did you start from high school? Was it from JHS? Was it from GNMTA Training College?
Okay.
Where did it start from?
Okay, being a leader started from class 1.
Wow.
Yes. I was not normally chosen to be a class rep, but I was always famous among the students or the people, because by the grace of God, how God has gifted me with knowledge, wisdom, and excelling in examination is that teachers do love me so much. So it's like always, I am the first lady of the class. Not necessarily the class rep, but people do know me. Until then, I got to senior high school and I contested for the house prefect. That is for a 3-year house. And I was the first assistant house prefect for a 3-year house for 2015-2016 prefectorial board. Since my tenure of office, I did well because a 3-year house was one of the houses that were not doing well in inspection and all other stuff. But with my able prefect then, we came together, and our our house was doing well when it came to inspections, because all of a sudden the students were learning something that no, we are girls and we have to clean, because cleanliness is next to godliness. So I, being a prefect, as I'm scrubbing, you can't tell me as a first year student not to work.
That's a quality of a good
Yes,
leader.
so I am doing it. That means you can't stand. You have to do it. The other way around, you are supposed to do it for me to supervise. But if I am doing a work of a first year, that tells you that I'm so committed to the work I'm doing. So you have to do something. So until then, I came to Sunyani Nursing and Midwifery, and I contested for the Women's Commissioner, and by the grace of God, I was elected, and now I am the able incumbent Women's Commissioner of Sunyani Nursing and Midwifery Training College. Yes.
Okay, so with the things that you're doing, I think it's so exceptional, and then I don't think ideas like this come just out of the blue. So did you have any role model that's inspired you to do the things that you're doing? And then we would like to know this role model and tell us something small about it.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. The role model I have been following is this great woman, a songstress named Mrs. Diana Entry Hamilton. This woman inspires me a lot. Like, she has something in her. When Diana Hamilton started singing or bringing out songs, we were kids. Some of us even didn't know Diana Hamilton, but she never gave up. She persisted until, by the grace of God, one of her songs hit up in Ghana, and now Diana Hamilton is where she is now. This woman, whenever she starts to talk about her bibliography, I begin to cry, because being into marriage for so many years without kids, but she never gave up on God. She continued to believe and trust in God, that God's time is the best. So with everything we do, we have to know that there is time. And there are seasons. Sometimes when we think something is good for us, in God's own time, that's not the appropriate time. So He will never grant it for you until the time is set. So this woman is a great woman of God who inspires me a lot, and I am following her footsteps. Aside that, I sing at church, and through that, I think God will lift me up in my ministry too. Yes. So that is that.
And so, is it because have you always wanted to be a queen, or is it that you want to put your message out there and you find it that being a queen will make you more heard than a normal person? Have you always wanted to become?
Wow, this is an interesting question. And since I was a kid, let me see a short story about how this inspiration came. When I was a kid, my dad used to tell me, Akusia, don't play games with boys. Don't be doing these hash games, moving up and down. I don't want to get a scar on your legs because you go to Miss Ghana. It has been something since my dad said I don't really play those hard games with people. I'm always observed. When it comes to games, I will play a game that I am being safe and protected, because I don't want to hurt my feet. So beauty pageant, I had that in mind when I was growing up.
Okay.
But along the line, I just thought that, oh,
You lost it.
I lost it. But just recently, I was starting to grab up something. I was like, no, I still have the capacity. I have what the requirements and all that are needed for me to do such. So why don't I go in for this? So when I saw the Ghana Nurse Midwife trainee, I was like, this is the first time in a maiden program for Ghana nurses. So why don't I go out there to prove to people that nurses and midwives to have a potential in them, and we are not just centered to the hospital for caring people and bringing therapeutic healing to people, but we have other things we can do, and we can move Ghana to somewhere if Ghanaians are supposed to bring up the spotlight on us. So I took in the forms and I went in for this pageantry. And to be frank with you, this is the first pageantry platform I've ever been to. But I have been performing on so many stages, as in singing, presenting, MCing, and so other stuff. So
what you're saying is very interesting, but then interesting as it is, I think we have to go for a short commercial.